Hello, happy Friday, everybody. I'm going to turn the music down in just a moment. Can you guys see me and hear me all right? Good morning. Okay, let me turn the music off so we can hear each other. All right. Okay, so I'm looking at my comment section here. I'm on StreamYard. How's everybody doing on this fabulous Friday? Okay, Samantha says, you can see and hear me. Good morning. Hello, hello, hello. So it's been a little bit since I went live. I think the last live that I did was March sometime. And I think that was when I went live like 3 days in a row. But I said, you know what? It's May. It's been a little bit. Need to get on here and show my face. And I have some time today. So I'm not going to have to go really fast. We can talk, we can chit chat. So I have a hot lead that I want to start off with, and this is a really good one. Okay. This is a high pay lead. Y'all saw the title. I know that's why you're here. Okay. This is a no phone customer service job, and it's going to pay $30 to $35 per hour. Now, this is available US wide, and I'm going to show it. So don't worry, I'm going to show you the lead. I'm going to provide the link. Okay. And this opportunity is, like I said, available US wide. However, this is a temp job. So if you caught my video last month where I talked about temp jobs, then you would know that sometimes temp jobs can turn into something more permanent. But sometimes a temp job is just a temp job. It is what it is. So I'm going to go ahead and get this lead up. And what I will do is I'm going to put the link to apply in the comment section. So if you want to apply to it, you can either go to the company's website or you can use the link that I'll put in the comment section. It's not going to be in the description box while I'm on this live, but you'll be able to see the link. And I'm about to paste that in the chat box right now as I share my screen so we can learn all about this job and this company. I'll read through it. So I think I need to select this one, and then I need to hit share screen, and I should be able to share my entire screen. So I won't be able to see what y'all are saying while I share the lead, but I'll come back afterwards and we can chat. So getting that up right now. This browser can't access your screen. It's too early for this. If y'all have ever caught any of my lives, there's always something with the tech. Give me just a second. I'm going to try something else. And if that doesn't work, then I'll just have to possibly come back. Let's see. Okay, let me try a different one. I'm trying to share my whole screen, but it wants to just have me share, or can I just share part of it? Let's see. Yay! It worked. All right, so I'm going to go to the view where y'all can see me, but I can't see you. And I'm going to paste the link in the chat box right now so we can read along. All right. So today's hot lead, as I was saying, it's a no phone work from home job from a company called Outset. And this company specializes in dialysis. So when people have, I guess, kidney failure or they lose function of their kidneys, they have to do something called dialysis. And it's a really cool company because these are portable and you can use these machines at home as well as in the hospital. So I know that definitely gives people a lot more flexibility. Now, if you want to learn more about the company, you can check out their Glassdoor account. And they have anywhere from 501 to 1,000 employees. They're based out of California. So for all of my Californians who are like, everything always excludes us, this company's based in California. And as I mentioned, it's US wide. And they have really good reviews, like 4.4 stars. I mean, that's great. So we're going to jump on into this thing. All right. And I'm going to zoom in. Can I do that? Let's see. Can I zoom in? There we go. I'm going to make it big. All right, so we can read it for those of us who are up there and don't have good eyes, like me. So it says customer service operations specialist. This is a temp job. It's remote US wide. And down here, they let us know that it's going to pay between $30 and $35 per hour. And it doesn't have a lot of high requirements. So let's find out about it. So they talk about the company overview, which I just gave us. So I'm going to just skip to the position overview. It says this position will be an owner of customer order management. This includes, but is not limited to, new account setup, order processing and execution, RMA processing and execution, customer master management, and responding to all customer product ordering inquiries. This role will also partner with the broader Outset Capital sales team and logistics team to ensure purchase orders are processed in a timely manner and shipped accurately to our customers. This includes orders for capital equipment, consumable products, and other ancillary supplies as needed. Responsibilities/functions: ensure all customer account information is accurate and up to date. Partner cross-functionally to ensure all critical data ties out for timely and accurate revenue recognition. Set new accounts as needed for CRM, Salesforce. Assist with COR, customer ordering request process customer purchase orders for consoles, treatment supplies, and items as needed. Process RMA returns and credits on an ad hoc basis. Work with the logistics team to provide shipping information for customers. Manage customer reorder process on accessories and disposables. Understand and comply with all SOX requirements. The required qualifications: these are the things that you got to show up with. Your high school diploma or GED certification, 2 to 4 years of customer service experience, strong verbal and written communication skills, experience with CRM systems, preferably Salesforce, excellent problem-solving skills, friendly, energetic, and personable attitude, and ability to be flexible and adapt to changing business needs. And the desired qualifications: these are the things that are nice to have, but you don't have to show up with them. Medical device experience is a plus. And then if you have your bachelor's degree, it's strongly desired, they say. And so down here, they just talk about how they feel passionate about pay equality and, they don't discriminate and all that good stuff. And, they have their equal opportunity employment statement. So the application process, what it looks like, if you scroll down, you'll see, you need your name, email, phone number. They have a place for your resume and cover letter. We definitely want to take a little bit of time to, do what we need to do to customize both and submit both. LinkedIn profile. How'd you hear about it? You could say Delilah YouTube, or, you could paste the URL to my channel, hey, whatever you want to tell them. And then they just have some, voluntary questions and things down here. And then you would submit the application. So this is an easy peasy application. The main portion is just making sure that you customize, your cover letter and your resume. And if you have not already tried my remote resume builder software, I am still doing the $1 trial. So if you want to make customizing your resumes and cover letters really simple, you can use the software. Okay. So on the page, and this is linked in the description box of this live, by the way, is the link to get this $1 trial while it's still going. Okay. You can see a demonstration of how the software works in this video. And it's really simple. You'll name your resume and you'll go through a 5-step wizard and create it. Now, I just added a new feature on Monday to the remote resume builder software. That's the name of the software. And it's my software. Me and my team built it. You can use the templates. So if you want to know what templates are included, if you just scroll down a little bit on this page, I have a no experience template. I have a customer service template, a data entry template, you get a tech support template, a student resume template, and you also get a cover letter template. And you can try it for just $1, and all of these templates are going to be included. And if you decide to keep this trial, which is a 7-day trial, after that 7 days, it's only $37 per month. That's it. And it's a cloud-based software, so you don't have to download anything. Mhm. So I'm gonna stop the share just so I can see what y'all are doing in the chat because I can't see y'all at all while I'm talking to you. But yes, so that is the lead, okay? And make sure you if this is your lead, make sure you do what you got to do, customize your resume and cover letter and then get your application in. And of course, the remote resume builder software will make that really simple to do. Okay? So, what do y'all think about this hot lead? Let me see what y'all are saying. I'll have to scroll back up. You said I was breaking up. Hopefully everyone heard me okay. Y'all already applied. I hope y'all applied with a resume that speaks to the position, but hey, we're grown. I can't tell y'all what to do. All right. Maybe y'all were just quick with it. That's what it is. Y'all are quick with it. You have the software. It's a breeze. Geisha, you said I'm sorry. You said you're having trouble with the resume builder since Tuesday? Let me see. Because someone's in the support desk every day. I can check real quick in the support desk. Let me take a look. I'll search by your name. Someone responded to you, Geisha, a few days ago. Let me make sure that's yeah. Someone responded to you a few days ago. I I don't want to show the screen because your details are on there, but check your email and just in case, check your spam folder. Sometimes the emails go there. But yeah, they responded back to you on Tuesday. Actually 2 hours after you emailed. Yeah. So, if you guys ever have any questions or anything about the software, we have I have a dedicated support team and they're in the support desk every weekday. So if you ever need like your login, you can always reset it yourself. But if you need someone to do it for you, then support can help you out. Yeah. So let's see. What else is everyone saying about the job? Okay, so y'all are liking this one. Is my chat coming through fine? I'm seeing some things saying that I am breaking up. Am I clear or am I breaking up? Can you let me know, is my audio clear? Is my video clear or is it breaking up? Okay, it's clear. Thank you, Charlie. Charlie said I'm clear over here. Thank you. Okay. All right, cool. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so that's the hot lead for today. I love that lead. And if you are curious about temp jobs, maybe you're not really familiar with how they work, I will link my video that I did about temp jobs. And I posted this video last week, not last week, last month. So it was a few weeks ago. And I go into more detail about what to expect with temp jobs and where you can find temp jobs if that's something you are interested in doing. And I never even thought about it before I had made that video. It was actually, I think, I was on live. It was one of the lives that I had done back in March, and someone had asked me about temp jobs. And I see them all the time, but I didn't think anyone was interested. And I had posted that video, just in response, just to see, hey, does anyone care? I didn't really know if anyone would watch it, but um, quite a few folks have watched the video, about 16,000 people. So I will definitely share more temp jobs in the future if, the interest is still there. And I thought, hey, let me share this temp lead with y'all today. So yeah. And temp jobs can turn into permanent roles. They have that ability, but you don't want to go into it expecting that. So go into it knowing that it's gonna be what they said it's gonna be. They'll tell you ahead of time. Are you okay with doing this job for 4 months? That's all we need. And then if you are, and you say okay, and you move on with it, you just have to expect that it will end when they said it would end. But sometimes a permanent role can open up. So you might actually be able to stick around with the company after, what they had expected or said that they expected. I'm sorry, I'm tongue tied. You might be able to stick around with the company after the time that they specified it would end. There we go. Mhm. And I will also say that temp jobs are a great way to get experience in a non committal way. So if you don't want to stick with something long term, or maybe you don't know how it might pan out for you, a temp job is a good way to get your foot in the door. You can also get really good resume or experience to add to your resume, and that'll help you get your next job because it's all about what have you done for me lately, and these, remote positions, a lot of times they want people who've already worked in a remote environment. And if you've never worked from home before, or if it's been some time, it may be a little bit easier to get a temp job. But I hesitate to say that because all of these jobs are quite competitive. Um, but at the same time, they're not. So what do I mean by that? Well, you might have a lot of interest in a job. A lot of people might apply to these jobs, but not a lot of people are good fits for these jobs. And not a lot of people are putting themselves in the best position to get hired for these jobs, which is a perfect segue to go into the next topic that I have for y'all, which is another question that I got. When did I think this was a question from the comments. A lot of folks have asked me this here and there about assessments and if it's possible to pass assessments. So I want to put this question out here to y'all before I get into some of the information that I have collected and can share with y'all. Do you think it is possible to pass those job assessment tests? Let me know in the chat box. Do you think it's possible to pass job assessment tests? I'll type the question in the chat box and put it on here on the screen. Okay. So I want to know from y'all in the comment section, do you think it's possible to pass job assessment tests? I just want to see, what the consensus is. Because this wasn't something I'd ever really thought about. I just thought, either you take the test and they like you or they don't. But apparently, this is something that a lot of people wonder about because I've seen this comment, like I said, here and there on my channel kind of frequently asking about, hey, can you talk about how to pass these tests? And I didn't know this was something that people wanted to know about or had even really thought about. So let's see. So, yes. no, yes, no, yes. However, some are crazy. Yes. Yes, let us know how to pass them. Yes. I feel like there's no pass or fail. Okay, just want to get a better understanding of you. Yes. If you have the skills they're looking for, of course. I look bad. Aw, sorry. Let's see. Can I block you? Oh, there you go. You're blocked. All right. What else? Of course. Absolutely. I need to work from anywhere in the world. Check my global jobs playlist. Yes, I have for Cigna. There's definitely a pass or fail. Um, Hard to tell if you pass or fail because you never know exact reason why they deny you. It's a trap. The job that I just posted, it's full time. It's full time. Hopefully, yes. Uh, what no experience entry level? Okay. We'll talk about some other stuff. We'll talk about some other stuff, but just sticking to the question. They're disheartening. Please. Okay. Yeah, so that this gives me a good consensus of where y'all are at with maybe your, idea of assessment tests and if they are possible to pass them. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, it's coming. My block finger is strong, and I don't even really give a lot of people any attention, but I try to delete those comments. So a lot of times you might not even see them, but I'll even get wild emails. I mean, one time somebody said that they wanted me gone. I'm on YouTube and YouTube is sensitive, but we know what that means. What? I should have called the police for him. But I said, let me just block him. Let me block him. Let me block him. So let me pull up my info because I did look into this. So if y'all ever wonder, like, hey, when's Delilah gonna follow up? She said she was gonna follow up. Y'all gotta give me some time, okay? And I told someone I'm gonna give you this info like a month ago, but better late than never, okay? Okay. So I did some research about if it's possible to pass assessment test, and you guys will be able to say yay or nay after I give you some info. So just to start off, what are job assessments? So job assessments are evaluations or tests that employers use to determine an individual's abilities, skills, and qualifications for a particular job or position. And assessments can take many forms. So that could include written tests, interviews. This is what I found, okay? Simulations and practical demonstrations of job related duties. So, what are the type of assessments? All right, so just a rundown of some of the main assessments that you'll see. There are cognitive ability tests. So, like cognitive thinking, that kind of thing, personality test, situational judgment test, and then job knowledge test. There's also work samples. So sometimes the assessment is do a sample assignment. Now, now that we know what the assessment is for and some of the different types of assessments, some of the benefits that assessments provide the employer is it helps them identify the most qualified candidates for the job. And then it's going to ensure that the candidates have the necessary skills and abilities to succeed in the role. And I found that assessments can also help reduce bias. So, on that lead that we just read, and pretty much on every lead that I share, you'll notice that they have that equal opportunity employment statement where they say, like, we don't discriminate due to a bunch of legally protected reasons, including this, this, and the other. Well, assessment tests actually help with upholding that because instead of them choosing someone based off of who they like, the assessment actually helps employers choose people based off of their skills. And that was really interesting for me to, see like, okay, yeah, that totally makes sense because it's just about who did well on the assessment. Sight unseen. Okay. So continuing on, and I'm not looking at the comments just yet. So I'll come back, but I'm going through the info that I found. So, some other things, okay? Some other things. Let's see. I have notes. I'm looking at my notes that I have. Okay. So the challenges of assessments, we know that they can be time consuming on our end. And on the employer's end, it's actually kind of expensive for them to do these assessments. So whenever you do take an assessment, that was well thought out and it cost employees to be able to provide that assessment. So they're already putting money in upfront to figure out who would be the best fit for the positions. But on our end, we're just concerned about like, how long is this going to take me? And if y'all remember, late last year, I was partnering with Working Solutions, and I did that tutorial video about how to get started with them. And one of the things that I mentioned about Working Solutions is they have an assessment test that takes about 45 minutes to do. So you didn't need a resume. You never need a resume for them. But they put so much into their assessment that not only do you not need a resume, but also it holds so much weight that if you don't do well on the assessment, you can't do anything with them. So that's one company in particular that I know about how like important their assessment is. It holds so much weight that they don't even care about your resume. And that assessment, like other assessments, measures your, cognitive abilities. Okay. It's also a personality test mixed in there. They want to know like what kind of decisions you would make given certain situations. So that's why that test takes a while, because they're really trying to get an understanding of what you got going on, if you're a good fit. And I would say that's the same for pretty much every assessment out there. So they're really putting a lot into these exams to screen potential employees. So anytime you take an assessment, you always want to have that in mind while you're taking it, because the next steps are dependent on how well you do on that assessment. Okay. So we know it's for the assessments are for screening the candidates. They also, in addition for screening the candidates, like who gets to move on to the next steps, they also can predict job performance. So the assessments can predict how well a candidate is likely to perform in the job. So before you even do anything, they already know like if you're going to do well in it. They also can identify potential to excel in the job, and they can also aid in succession planning. That's just a fancy way of saying who's going to be promoted, like potential for management. So on some job leads, you'll see they mention room for growth, or we promote from within. Assessments can actually be used to indicate if someone is management material before they've even gotten hired to do the position at hand. So they're able to even see like in the future what it's looking like for you. So that's a big deal. Like that's a really big deal. A company might say, "Hey, we want everybody in here to have management potential based off of these assessments." So that makes it even more stringent, even more of a big deal. Okay. So they can also be used to develop employees. So they can identify on your assessment test if there are any additional training and development opportunities needed. So maybe you don't do well on a certain part, but you do really well on, everything else. They may hire you, but they can use that assessment to say like, okay, this new hire will need more training on customer retention. That's how they can identify some areas of opportunities for training. Mhm. So I'm just going to check into the chat real quick. I know it's like all that information about assessments, and there's actually more. But what do y'all think about that so far about the assessments? Keeping that question in mind, is it possible to pass or fail them? What do y'all think about that info so far? Mhm. Yeah, so we're going to get into the different areas of the assessment, Carmen. That's a good question. What are the areas of the assessment? Mhm. They're looking for certain patterns of thinking. You have to read the questions and listen to what they're looking for. Yep, yep. Okay. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. So I'm going to continue on with some of the things that, some other notes that I have. All right. So getting to the question, are there right and wrong answers? Yes and no. And it all depends on the type of job assessment. So, in some cases, there may be right or wrong answers. For example, in a job knowledge test, the questions may have, objectively correct answers. And that's going to reflect your knowledge and expertise on a particular area. However, on some of the other types of assessments, such as the personality test or the situational judgment test, because those are part of the types of assessments. And you can even have mixed assessments, okay? There might not be a clear right and wrong answer. Those assessments are designed to measure a candidate's personal traits or decision-making style. So it's not clear cut right or wrong. They want to know, how do you make decisions? So some people are kind of like linear. Okay, there's a problem. Let me identify like the problem and therefore come up with some solutions, and then we're going to go with that. Whereas other people's decision-making skills might be, I got to ask several people first. I need to go ask Susie and I need to go ask Bobby. And, we do a little circle powwow and then I'll make a decision. Some people, their decision-making skills, it's, a knee-jerk reaction. They don't really take time to like think about what's going on. They're just going to do the first thing that comes to mind. So they're able to tell what your decision-making style is from those assessments and your personality traits. And in those, there isn't necessarily a right or wrong answer, but more so a preference that these companies have. Because remember, you're going to be inserted into their team, into their company culture. So they might be, the type of company where they want everybody to have the same kind of personality and decision-making skills. It's not that your skills might be right or wrong. It's just, are you a fit for the company? Okay. That shows up in the assessment. And then it says in my notes here, let's see what else. I'll skip through some of the things. Yeah. So, basically, for this question of are there right and wrong answers for the knowledge stuff, yes. But for decision-making skills or personality trait assessments, not so much. And it's also important to keep in mind that the assessment isn't the only factor when employers are considering you. However, for some companies, it's the most important factor, or it might be like a major factor, or for some companies, it might be, equally weighted with your application. So we never really know that because we're not on the inside making the decisions. But for one company, like I mentioned, Working Solutions, we do know that up front. It's the most important factor to the point where they don't even care about your resume. So, in general, I would just always take the assessment seriously. Now, can you actually learn to pass assessment tests? If it's knowledge based, of course. And I'll also give y'all the example of like when I had to do assessments. I mean, I've taken plenty of assessments, but for the insurance marketing job that I had, that I talk about all the time, that job required a lot. So I went in for an interview, and then I also had to take an assessment. And that assessment asked me math questions. That assessment asked me stuff that if you are doing a marketing job, you would have learned in your classes. Like I remember one question was asking like who invented the radio? Like I remember that was one of the questions on there. Um and then the math portion was timed. And it was like it reminded me of like in 3rd grade when we were learning our multiplications, and we had to like do the worksheets and the teacher would time it. That portion was timed. And that test was based solely off of did you get them right? Did you get them wrong? So you could get a grade on it. I never got my grade back, but I must have done okay because I got hired. But I remember that. Yeah. And so with the personality based assessments and your decision making skills, those assessments, you can't really study for them. Now, there are online examples of these tests that you can take, but my personal 2 cents about that, I wouldn't I wouldn't waste my time with that portion of job preparation because if you have a certain type of personality and you want to, try and practice so you can be, someone who a certain company wants to hire, if you're not actually being you when you take the assessments and answering honestly, you might get into the job and find that you don't like it at all, like at all. And a lot of times when we want to get a new job, it's not so much that the job itself is bad, it's the people. So if you're trying to practice for a personality assessment test and you're answering questions outside of how you would actually answer them for real, you might actually get hired. But then the flip side of that is you get hired for a company that, everybody, they're just not your cup of tea. So those are the notes that I have about assessments. So we did answer the question. Some assessments, yes, you can pass. Some assessments, no, you can't really pass them. And it just all depends on how important the assessment is to companies. Now, I will also give y'all some, high level tips or, just some additional things that I would keep in mind. If you are ever invited to take an assessment for a company, don't drag your feet taking the assessment. Like, go ahead and take it. Carve out that time because time is of the essence. Okay. So make sure that time, like you are timely when you are doing any step of the job search process. And sometimes you'll be redirected immediately after you fill out the application to take an assessment. Sometimes they will email you an invitation to take an assessment. So in either scenario, as soon as you can take it. Like if I was filling out an application and I was redirected to take an assessment, I would take that assessment right then and there. I would not go do something else. If I had a job and maybe like the next day they email me the assessment, as soon as I check my email, I'm going to drop what I'm doing and take the assessment. Sometimes the job doesn't, sometimes the people who move on to the next steps are the folks who are quick to the draw. Like that's how that works. Sometimes the company is motivated to get somebody in there. So the longer you take to do each step, that could actually be your missed opportunity. And another thing, okay? Make sure that you are able to receive emails. I've emailed like several people where the email bounces. Make sure your email has, where the settings are set to accept the emails. If it's spam, it'll go to the spam folder. You can send it to the spam folder. But I don't know what kind of settings some folks have on their email address. They'll even email me first. And when I try to respond to their email, it'll bounce. How is your email bounce when you email me? So I think it has to do something with the settings that people have on their emails. So make sure that you're able to accept all emails. You don't have real strict spam settings on your email. And then just to be on the safe side, check your spam folder. There are plenty of people who have missed out on invitations for interviews because they did not check their spam folder. So make sure you do that. So I'll look at the chat section here. But what are y'all thinking about, this information? Is it new information, or does it sound about right? Make sense? What are y'all's thoughts? I type something, multitasking. What are y'all talking about? Tim, my workshop works. You may have already watched the workshop. The link to the job is in the chat box. I can't post it in the description right now, or maybe I might be able to get on YouTube and see. When I do my lives from StreamYard, so after I finish my lives, the replay renders and then StreamYard sends it to YouTube, but I can see if I'm able to access the description box for this. Okay, I think I can. I'll put the job link in the description box. So you would just have to refresh our live in just a second. I'll let you know when it's added. I need to get the link. Okay, if you refresh your screen, you should be able to see the job link in the description box now of the video. But yes, let's see what y'all said about the job assessment information. Okay, so this was new info. Very insightful. Thank you, Celeste. You're welcome. It's spot on. You're telling the truth. Thank you. Very helpful. Oh, great. I'm glad this is helping y'all. Thank you. Okay. Yes. So the assessment is really important. And again, some companies might make it weigh so much that it's the most important parts. Some companies might weigh it equally with your application, like your resume and all that stuff. Some companies, they might use it as an indicator of how well you'll do in the future if they were to hire you, but maybe it doesn't, play such a major role in you getting hired. But I will also tell y'all another thing. The assessment, one of the other reasons for the assessment is to sort of you know, f- get get the applicants weeded down. So we know how competitive these online jobs are. Like, it is very competitive. And I was just doing my little research, and I had posted in my community tab yesterday when I shared my newest video that between January 2022 and January 2023, the number of employees working from home in the US increased by 47%. So go back to January 2022 and take it to January 2023. The number of employees working from home in the US increased by 47%. That's a lot. That's a lot. Okay. So what that means is it's even more competitive, and it's only getting more competitive. And I would argue to say that I won't go there. I won't go there, but I'll say this for the folks who want to work from home, it's not enough to just apply to the job. And it's not enough to just do the assessments. Like, it's not, those things aren't enough. You really have to have the skills to pay the bills, like I say. Like that's the best way to sum it up. Especially for like the non-phone jobs. So I just posted this non-phone job, and I've been posting a lot of non-phone jobs lately. Like, that's what y'all always tell me you want. So I'm like, okay, let me try and find non-phone jobs for y'all. But the thing is, not everybody can do the non-phone jobs, because non-phone jobs are still skill heavy jobs. So some people, they think, well, if I'm not on a phone, it's going to be easier. Like, I've talked to enough of y'all to know that a lot of y'all want to do the non-phone jobs because the idea is non-phone is going to be somewhat easier than if you have to get on the phone and do your job. But that's not the case. Where one skill might not be needed, there might be 2 or 3 new skills that are necessary. So, non-phone, Excel, 10 key. Got to be quick with it. Got to type fast. Those are really important skills if you want to do anything non-phone. Let's see what y'all are saying in the chat. Congrats, Tiffany. Yay! Tiffany says she's gotten 2 work from home jobs through my channel. Amen. That's a blessing, Tiffany. Congratulations. Tiffany's got the skills to pay the bills. Tiffany said, I can get hired anytime I want. That's awesome. And by the way, I need to start posting all of the like comments and emails that y'all send me when y'all get hired. I get a lot of them, and I just never post them because I'm trying to get these leads out. And, I got a bunch of other stuff going on. And it's just like the last thing that comes to my mind is to post them, which I've been trying to do, but I always forget. So maybe I might do that today if I have some time. I know I need to go to Sam's. And I actually already had a bunch of stuff that I did already today. Today at my son's school, they have their teachers appreciation and they were doing a Mother's Day celebration. So I brought some cheesecakes and I accidentally signed up to bring all the cheesecakes. I didn't realize on the sign up sheet that there were two spaces. So it was supposed to be like two people would be in charge of bringing something. And like I wrote my son's name in both spaces by accident. And so when I look back at the sheet, because they've had it sitting next to the check in for maybe like the last 2 or 3 weeks, I noticed everybody had uh there were for every item that needed to be brought, there were two names in each thing. I was like, oh, I did that. So I went ahead and brought all the cheesecakes. I brought all the cheesecakes, and I got them from Publix. I ordered them ahead, and I tell y'all, it was really tempting not to just keep one of them. Those cheesecakes were looking scrumptious. I said, I don't need any cheesecake right now. I'm trying to stick to my goals. That's why I got me this big thing of water right now. I don't even know what I was talking about before that. But yeah. Oh, I was congratulating. Yeah. And then before that, we were talking about the assessments and something else. But yeah. So, what do y'all have going on for Mother's Day? Happy Mother's Day to everybody. Thank you. The first was a project through Accenture. I remember them. It was a temp job, but it introduced me to working remote for MD unemployment. The second was Change Healthcare. Awesome! Yay! That is exciting. Congrats. Yeah, I got I didn't even know Publix did banana pudding cheesecakes. Let me see if I can find a picture of it. I did a banana pudding cheesecake. I'm gonna Google it. And then I got one with berries on it. And then I got one with some sort of chocolate. I forgot what exactly the flavor was. Is it banana pudding or banana cream? See, I call it banana pudding. I'll share the screen so you can see. That's the one I wanted. Truth be told, I wanted that cheesecake. Let me share my screen. Let's look at cheesecake because why not? Can I share the thing? Okay. All right. This is the cheesecake. Let's zoom in on it. Can we zoom in on that cheesecake? Look at it. This picture doesn't do it any justice. Like you got vanilla wafers, and then it looks like they might have some like crunched up on the side right there. This picture doesn't do it any justice, y'all. I mean, I was looking at that thing. I'm driving, looking down at the cheesecake. Yeah. Yeah, And of course, I keep a little cough because my baby's forever giving me something from daycare, but that's okay. So I can stay on for another few minutes. We're getting ready to approach an hour right now. And, I don't want to take up everybody's time, but I do have time to chat a little bit in case y'all wanted to. What, Robert? No, 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 no. First of all, I know you're not a Southerner. All right. Just by the first few line or words of your comment, I know you're not a Southerner, Robert. Not immediately, no. Immediately, yes. Okay. Banana and none of that instant stuff either. All right. Banana pudding has to go into the oven. The old-fashioned banana pudding. Now, I don't make it. I'm the critic. Like at the cookout, who brought the banana pudding? And it's like, you didn't do anything. But you know what? I'm a critique it every time. None of that instant stuff. And you're from South Carolina. What? If you don't like it, you just need to have someone make it right. That's what that's about. Maybe they just haven't done it right. Yeah. So oh yeah, one other thing too. I was going to tell y'all about the workshop, and the workshop is an on-demand workshop. So in March, at the end of March, I did this workshop live, and we had a lot of folks sign up for the workshop and watch it. I even started a Facebook group, which there's a lot of people who aren't in the Facebook group right now that should be, but it's only for people who decide to opt in for the Ready to Work from Home bundle. So if you find yourself always struggling to get hired, like you just don't ever get assessments, you never get phone interviews, you never get invites to the next step, I encourage you to at least watch the free workshop. And I teach in the workshop. So if you've ever watched anyone's workshop, sometimes they just tell you about success stories, or they just go in detail, or they don't go into detail at all, but they just talk about, this is how you're going to feel, and this is what's going to happen. I actually teach on the workshop. So I give you about, this much of a picture that's like this big. But on the workshop, you're going to learn stuff. So even if you say, well, I can't right now, I can't join the courses, Delilah, it's just not something I can do, you're at least going to learn the first few steps that's going to help you get going. But the actual how to and the application of it, if you decide to get the workshop bundle, it's only $67 for the people who watch the workshop. So the link for that is in the description box of this video. And I linked that in the video from yesterday. And so in case you didn't see the video that I posted yesterday, it's about how to get started working from home. So for everybody who has struggled or is struggling to get hired, make sure you watch that video, and then afterwards, if you feel like, okay, I need more info, watch the free workshop. It's only an hour long. Tim, try using a different email address. You may have already registered before. I'm not really sure, but the workshop allows you to sign up. If you have already signed up, it's going to take you to a closed page. So the workshop isn't watch it whenever you get ready. Once you put in your name and email, you can watch that workshop for a week. And then after that, you can't enter the workshop again, because the offer is only for that set time period. The courses are normally about $300, that whole bundle, but it's a discount. Like, think about it as an instant coupon. Because you took the time to watch the workshop, you'll get that instant coupon applied and you can get the bundle for just $67. Whereas if you were to buy the courses individually, it would be like $300. And I can stand by that price because I really teach you how to get hired to work from home. Mhm. So watch that. And I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. But what I will say, okay, what I will say is I think sometimes we get in our own way when it comes to doing the stuff that we need to do, especially when it comes to getting hired. Whether you want to work from home or work, in the traditional workforce, you still have to acquire skills, and not just the, knowing how to do certain program skills, like interviewing skills, resume and cover letter writing skills. There's an art to it. You're not just putting down stuff. You're not just loading your resume up with keywords. It's not just about putting something on there. And it's kind of easy to identify where you might need to improve because we know what the job search looks like. First step is you got to find jobs to apply to. Some people, they identify that their issue is they don't know how to find the types of jobs they want to apply to. The second, thing that could be is you don't know how to put your best foot forward, i.e., your resume and cover letter, filling out the application. Sometimes the application has questions that you have to take time to answer, not just yes or no or the state you live in, but like, for example, in the video that I posted last week about the 8 part-time jobs, I talked about a company called Mod Squad that has like a lot of non-phone jobs that you can do as a contractor, but their application process requires you to answer several questions and they want you to answer in paragraph format. Because if you're going to be doing a job like a moderator in a chat, or if you're going to be, doing like a chat customer service role, they need to make sure that you can actually type and you can explain yourself only through text. So if you're not taking time to fill out the application properly, then you don't move on to the next step. Sometimes the thing you identify that you need help with is the actual interview process. So maybe you don't have problems finding jobs, maybe you don't have problems applying for jobs, but maybe your problem is you can't get past that interview. Some folks go on a lot of interviews, but they never seal the deal. That would tell you that the area of opportunity for you is developing your interview skills. And then sometimes people get offers and they get hired, but they can't keep a job. So they're the type of people that I call like really good on paper. Sometimes you can be really good on paper. Sometimes you even have a little bit of that gift of gab and you can get through the interview. But sometimes, folks just aren't that great of employees. Like once they get on the job, they don't really do that well. So, which one are you? Like, what area of opportunity do you have? And watching the workshop will get that, it'll get you really thinking about, well, okay, this is what I need to improve on. And then another area is like, you're just not work from home ready. You don't have the equipment to work from home, or your internet speed is too slow, or you do have a computer, but it just doesn't have the operating system that these companies want. So you have to get those things in place so that you can get hired and that you can do the job. So you might find, hey, I need help with all those things. Or you might find, actually, I just need help with one of those things. Either way, watch the workshop. Watch the workshop. The amount of people who tell me that they need help getting hired is a lot. But when there is a solution in place, the amount of people who are wanting that solution is not as high. And I'm not really sure what that's about. But I can't change anybody. I can put what is this? You can put it out there. You can, what is it? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. I think that expression, summarizes that. There are a lot of people who are like, hey, I know I need help and I'm gonna get the help. Those are my people. That's how I am. But then there's a lot of people who are like, I need help. But then they don't want to actually do what it takes to get help. So that's why I said earlier that these jobs are competitive, but they're also not competitive. So just because you see a video get 20,000 views and everyone's like, I applied, that doesn't mean that all those people who applied are competitive for that job. Not everybody who applies is a good fit. So for example, let's say 1,000 people apply to a job before they close the lead. Out of that 1,000 people who applied, maybe only 500, I'm just throwing out numbers here, maybe only 500 meet the minimum requirements to do the job. Out of that 500 that meet the minimum requirements, maybe, they get invited to take an assessment, and some folks either don't take it or the invite goes to their spam and they don't check it. Maybe they got those email something on their email where they can't get the emails right. And so maybe out of that 500, only 300 take the assessment. Now, okay, they've whittled it down from 1,000 to 300 people right away. Out of the 300 people who do well on the assessment, maybe they look back at their resume and say, okay, well, the preferred skills that we wanted, maybe only half of them have that. So now you're down to 150 people. And so then maybe they say, okay, the next thing is we want to try and get some interviews going, but we can't interview everybody. So maybe we'll just choose the people who submitted a resume and a cover letter. All right, that slashed it in half again. So now you're down to 75 people. Every step of the hiring process is an elimination round. You see the reality shows like Fear Factor, it whittled down till there was one person standing. That's how it is when you're applying to a job. Every single thing that they have along the way is to eliminate people. So maybe 1,000 people did apply to a job, but not 1,000 people are competitive. And that's why it's important to develop those areas that I was just talking about. Because until you develop those areas, you might get out the first round, the assessment. You might get out the second round. You didn't write a cover letter, or you don't have the preferred skills. Like there's a lot of different reasons why you might get eliminated for a job. So you just want to try and control the controllables and do what you can. Mm-hmm. Yes. And a lot of people are not fit for this style of work. That's 100% true, Tiffany. A lot of people are not fit for remote work. There's a reason why micromanaging is a style of managing. Like that, there's a reason why micromanaging people is a management style. That's because some people won't do anything unless you're literally breathing down their neck. To be a remote employee and have success, you have to have a lot of skills that are comparable to someone who's like an entrepreneur. Like self-starter is a phrase we throw around all the time, and I don't think we even really think about it, but you have to be a self-starter. You got to be the type of person who does not need someone to, tap them on the shoulder, send them a million emails, blow your phone up to do something. Like, you know what you need to do, you get up and you do it. That's important. But not a lot of people can do that. And, typically it's the same people who want the job, who will do what it takes to be employable, who are also a good fit for working from home. So, if you're the type of person who only wants to click on the videos that talk about the money, but you don't want to click on the videos that talk about the skills, working from home might not be for you. I don't want to step on any toes, but I got to keep it real. What do y'all think about that? He said, I love working by myself, always have while working in job settings in person. Me too. Me too. Like, I can do the group stuff, but I just always find like when working in groups, you always have the person who does stuff, and like maybe they might have like another person who will do stuff too. But then there's always like everyone else who's just sort of riding on the other folks' coattails. Like they don't do anything. So that's why I never liked group projects in school, because I'm like, okay, let's meet up in the library. Like in college, we had group projects. I'm like, let's meet up in the library. Okay, what works for you? We'll divvy out the responsibilities. We'll have our deadlines. We can do it through a Google Doc. Okay, everyone just make sure you do your part. But that's asking for a lot. I found that out. So can you mention the skills needed? It varies on job to job. But if we're just talking about general skills that every single remote job, as far as like being a good fit, I think that's what you're asking about, since that's what we were talking about, being a tech savvy person. Okay. If someone, so every company has a way of doing things. Some companies have their own proprietary apps. Like, you won't ever find this app anywhere outside of the company. So you have to be tech savvy and capable and willing of learning how to do things in new systems. You have to be able to toggle between different screens. If something doesn't work, you have to be able to do, light troubleshooting. Like if I got on here and I'm talking and my sound goes out, I have to be tech savvy enough to know, okay, am I muted? Okay, I'm not muted. Did I go to the settings and select my mic? Okay, I selected my mic. I'm still not coming through. Maybe I might need to unplug my mic and plug it back up. Sometimes that needs to happen. Sometimes I need to update my browser. Just throwing out different examples, but you have to be tech savvy enough to know what to do next. All right. You also have to be a good communicator, because stuff gets lost in translation. So whenever you're talking, through in a virtual setting, sometimes we don't have the luxury of actually like chatting with someone. We need to be able to communicate clearly through our emails and, Slack messages and, all of those tools that companies have for us to communicate with each other. Those are just some of the main things. And of course, the self-starter stuff. Like, you gotta be able to, get up, do what you got to do, meet your deadlines without somebody constantly on you about that. And resourceful, because sometimes the answer is in a knowledge base somewhere. So you'll have to be able to like navigate the knowledge base and find what you need. So let's see what else. And Angelisa said, I think I need to work more on my resume because I'm only 24 and in school getting my BA in healthcare admin. Congrats. But I love the computer work, if that makes sense. That's awesome. And I also have a student template in the remote resume builder. So that link's in the description box. I added a student template because sometimes students don't have work experience, but maybe you have like volunteer experience or you've done something like in the school that you're enrolled in. Like I was in the School of Public Policy. Maybe I had done some sort of volunteer work in the School of Public Policy. You can add that to your resume. So I would definitely check out the remote resume builder software. The trial is just $1 right now. So check that out. Yes, I suggest watching the Ready to Work from Home workshop. The link is in the description box. If you need a work from home job, watch the Ready to Work from Home workshop. Thank you, Lawrence. Mm-hmm. Tiffany says she loves the, is it going to show? I'm trying to show your comment on the screen, Tiffany. There it goes. I love the flexibility of it. I'm working while doing laundry and dinner in the oven. I'm not as stressed as I was working in the office. Yeah, there definitely is a lot of flexibility with working from home. It's nice to have that flexibility. I think my favorite flexibility is the fact that I just don't have to go up and down, the highway. Like all of the traffic. Like I don't live in the city anymore. So we moved last May, actually. So it's been almost a year that we moved to more of like the suburbs of Atlanta, but my husband still has to do his commute back and forth because he works in the city. And I'm like, hey, I don't want it. Like he telecommutes, so he can work from home part of the week, but I don't think I could even do telecommuting at all. Like I need to be at the house or wherever. People's attitudes in the office. I I don't know what it is, but everywhere I went, no matter where I worked, I was always finding myself around the same type of folks who always had this like attitude. And it's like a crabs in the barrel mentality. And I never understood it at all. And those are the type of people that I'd always find myself working with. And I was just like, I can't anymore. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. The crapdemic. Sometimes I call it the panoramic. Because for a while on YouTube, you couldn't even say the word, which was weird. Like your video would get demonetized or flagged. I'm like, but this is affecting the whole world. I mean, I don't think we're in that stage anymore. Because yesterday on the news, I saw that the last, what is it called? I don't want to say the wrong word. I think the last COVID restrictions were lifted. Let me look that up. Yeah, so the last of the COVID restrictions were lifted yesterday. That's what the news said. And what those specific restrictions are, I didn't look too far into. But yeah, what a time. This is a good question, Lady Empress. You said, what about gap history and never worked from home? Any tips? Yes, I can definitely provide tips. So you can also, you can play it two ways. And I have a preference for which way, but I'll tell you the two different ways. So, just like when I was talking about the student resumes just a moment ago, sometimes students don't have any actual job experience, but they do have volunteer experience, or they've done, some sort of unpaid project that required skills, and you can add that to your resume. When you do that, you're mostly compensating for the skills and any sort of like positive outcomes that came from those volunteer experiences, or even while you're in school doing a project, you could put that as an accomplishment. That's one way you can do it. And if you do that, then you would only want to focus on no experience jobs. So we know when it comes to no experience jobs, you're not going to get paid a whole lot. Like, you have no experience, it's an opportunity. You'll make some money, but you won't necessarily be able to make, all the 20 plus money that folks are looking for. So that's one way you can do it. Another way, which is my preference, is using these 1099 companies. So these companies use us, let's use them. Most of these 1099 companies don't require you to have even like for a lot of jobs, like they'll say like you'll need a high school diploma or GED. I want to say that Arise is one of the companies that doesn't even require a diploma, like a high school diploma. And a lot of them don't. And even if they might say they do, because it's a 1099 company, I would still just apply to see what happens. But I would go for a 1099 company because those are really easy opportunities to get started with. So the one that I was just talking about, Working Solutions, they're a great company to get started with. The only caveat is they're not available in everybody's state. And then you also have to pass that assessment. But if they do work for your state and you do pass the assessment, then now you can get that experience to add to your resume. And so when you go for the next job, you're able to get hired. It works the same way if you have a gap. A lot of moms have gaps on their resume. When we had kids, we jumped out the workforce to be in the house taking care of our kids. And then, once they get a little bit older and you don't have to quite be so like right there with them, you might want to get you a job. 1099 companies work great for that. And then anytime you have any experience, even if you do have a gap, put that on your resume. And then you could apply for like the no experience or like the 1 year experience jobs if you do have a gap. And those are the jobs that you would have a good chance at getting hired for. So like, let's say maybe you worked for, I want to give you guys real scenarios here. So like maybe you start working at 16, but then you stopped working at maybe like 25 and started a family. So maybe now you're 30 and you want to get another job. It's been 5 years since you've had a job. I would still put on my resume all of the experience that I have. And then I would try applying mostly to no experience and little experience jobs, like 1 year and under, ideally. But, you could even try 2 years and under and see what bites. You could also, on the flip side, go to these 1099 companies so that you can get something recent on your resume and fill in that gap. So after you've done that for a little bit, now you can go back and apply to those jobs that might say you need 2 to 4 years of experience. You have that. The only issue was before you didn't have anything recent. Now you do have something recent. So you would be more employable. Does that make sense? I hope I was very clear about that. Okay. 1099 companies are contractor companies. So those are companies that don't provide benefits. And if you want to see some 1099 companies, a mega list of jobs. Now, if you're not using the mega list of jobs, what are you doing? Okay, the mega list of jobs is, I'm not, I know it's my mega list, but I made it for y'all and I didn't give y'all less. So I'm going to share my screen and show the mega list of jobs. Okay. So this is my website, remoteworklife.co. Most people know I have a website. I talk about it in every video, but in case you don't know, on here, there is something called the mega list of jobs. And I have some keywords for some of like their common positions that they offer from home. But they're not limited to just those keywords. Like the keywords are to help you get like a jump start. And then I also have it to where you can sort it based off of if it's a contractor position or if it's W-2. So like if you just want to see who's a contractor, you can just click it. And then you can see. And then from there, you can just copy and paste their career URL and check out their company. So that's how you can find some more contractors. And you can see there's several. So you can keep going and look through all the contracting companies. So let me go back here. Thank you. Yeah, try out applying with a cover letter and see what difference it makes. I would try finding companies that are based in Mexico and see if they offer any remote positions. Because finding global work anywhere jobs has been really, really tough lately. And I would do that too. I would look for companies that offer global, work from home jobs. But then I'd also try and find companies that are based out of Mexico and see if they offer any remote positions. Also, I would look into doing tutoring. Tutoring jobs and tech jobs tend to have like the most flexibility with your location. So a lot of people who do like the English as a second language tutoring, test prep tutoring, like what I did, you can work remote anywhere, like as long as your internet connection is good. So that's where I would look. You're a freelance travel agent with no customers. How does that work? I'm applying for travel agent jobs. Should I include my freelance or would they think I'm stealing their customers? Freelance as in, your friend hits you up and says like, "Hey, I'm going somewhere. Can you help me?" Like that, or like you tried to do a business style thing. If it's the first, I wouldn't include it. But if you have like successfully taken on clients and booked travel for them and they were happy with it, then I would test it out and see. Like it's okay to test out different versions of your resume, and I would actually encourage it because you might find that adding something or taking away something gets you more next step offers. So if you have like successfully planned trips for people, then you could also put that in your cover letter and like explain further, just so that they understand you're not looking for customers secretly. And then if you're no longer doing that, then of course, like on the date portion of your resume, you would just want to identify, I don't do this anymore. It was once upon a time. Mhm. I have an HR background. So after I started working as a tutor, I had this idea that I was going to, start my own business and go into HR because I'd been doing some research. And so the opportunity came to me after, doing some stuff. I was able to start working with a company that offers software as a service. So there's a lot of people who have their own software, including myself. How did that happen? Because I was doing the recruiting and hiring and coming up with the onboarding systems for my clients. And I had one client that I worked with up until the end of last year. So basically from like 2016 to 2022, that was my last client and I offboarded them. So I just didn't have the time anymore for that. And YouTube kind of came somewhere in that mist. So it was more of like a business to business thing that I had planned originally. And then I started working, more directly with people. But working in HR, for my own company that I started, I was able to meet a lot of developers. And so that's how I was able to hire a team of developers to create the remote resume builder software. So I've interviewed a lot of people. But like the main thing that I think for me, why I was able to do that was the systems that I created for onboarding. Because when a company needs to hire someone, you don't want to start from scratch. So like I came up with like a system for getting everybody on board because they had to learn these softwares and it was pretty technical. So yes, I do have a background in that. Thanks for asking, Stephanie. Yeah, I feel LinkedIn is necessary. Everybody should be on LinkedIn. If you don't have a LinkedIn profile, make sure you make one and make sure that's on your resume. Everybody needs to be on LinkedIn. Now, do I get on LinkedIn and hang out and do all that? No. Like I'm actually not like a social media person. I do my YouTube, but I try not to, do all the other stuff like that. I get on, do what I need to do when I get off. But yes, LinkedIn is necessary. Because also think about when you're verifying if you're talking to the person who you think you're talking to, like when they reach out to you, one of the first places we need to run is LinkedIn. We need to make sure that that person actually exists and that they are connected to the company. If we don't verify them on LinkedIn, we could be talking to anyone. These are part of the things that you have to do to verify if something is legit. So I also talk about that in the workshop. Lots of scams out here. So I talk about how to verify if a job is legit. So make sure you watch the workshop, y'all. Okay, so you're saying you weren't making any money. In that case, I wouldn't put it on there, but, in your cover letter, I would express, you know, that you are someone who really enjoys travel, whether it's your trip or someone else's. Mhm. Check the global jobs playlist on my website. And there are a lot of companies that hire in India, so you have a lot of options. It's just a little bit tricky for some other from for some other countries, like finding jobs in the I'm sorry, Jamaica or like in South America. Sometimes that can be a challenge. But India, there's a lot of options. What happened? How did you almost get scammed? Yeah. And LinkedIn is a good like, if you're in the job search on LinkedIn, you can actually put, it's a thing you can click and it'll put on your profile picture open for work or whatever it says. So like LinkedIn has a way for you to sort of like let people know, hey, I'm open for jobs. I've also heard that recruiters use LinkedIn a lot to find potential candidates for jobs and like they'll give you the invite to apply for the job through LinkedIn. Um, and then like LinkedIn is also good just to kind of keep up with what's going on in the career world. A lot of human resources professionals post a lot on LinkedIn because it's kind of their job to stay on top of the hiring trends. So you can kind of get a feel for what's going on in the career world by getting on LinkedIn. And I mean, with LinkedIn, it's not the same as like an Instagram or a Facebook or any of those other social platforms. LinkedIn is something that you what I would do if I'm not the biggest social media person, but but I know I need to be on LinkedIn, I would just have it to where if someone messages me, it comes to my phone as an alert. And then I would just make a habit of getting on LinkedIn whenever someone messages me, and then maybe just like a couple times throughout the week to see what's going on. It's not something that you have to do, all the time, but, weekly so that you're not missing anything and you're staying up to date. And to get those recruiters to contact you for jobs that they know about that you might be a good fit for, you want to make sure that your LinkedIn account is thoroughly filled out. So, you know, take that time to fill out the LinkedIn. Is there a such thing as too much experience? I feel like that may be why I'm not hearing back from companies. Um, Not for like most jobs. So when people talk about like having too much experience, I always think about those like federal jobs where, you might be like a GS such and such or a GS 11, GS, GS 12, like the FTE positions. With the government sector, you they have it ranked for experience. So, not to go down a long, long rabbit hole, I don't think in the current times that we're in, a company is going to say, we don't want her because she has a lot of experience if you're willing to accept the pay. So, like, sometimes they'll have a question on the application, what are your salary expectations? If you're within the scope of what the company's looking for and you just so happen to come with all this experience, that's a win for the company because they're getting a well qualified candidate for cheap. But if you're going for something like in the government, I don't know 100% exactly like, the things that they frown upon, other than I know that based off of government positions, you would apply to jobs that fit within your years of experience, and that's how you get into, like, that pay scale. So let me look up government. I know that's not what you asked about, but it does make me think about that. Let's see. Can people positions I'm gonna Google this real quick. Can people apply to government positions overqualified for? Okay, no, you can't. So even with them, it's not that big of a deal. But you just can't apply to things that you're underqualified for with the government. Yeah, okay. I know I went off on a tangent with that one, but long story short, companies are getting great experience for not the price that you would be worth if you're applying to jobs you're too qualified for. So I don't think that's keeping you from getting hired. Like, maybe someone from back in the day might feel that way, but like we're in the post pandemic times, and post pandemic times are different. So companies, they want top talent and they don't want to pay anybody. Rightly. So that's why I said on the application where you specify the pay, if they do ask, as long as your pay is within the scope of what they want, or what they're willing to hire for, it wouldn't be a problem. But if you're well qualified, let's say you have like 10 years of experience in customer service, but you're applying to a job that only requires 1 year of experience. Maybe the last job that you had paid you like $30 per hour. If you put that on on an application that is looking for someone who is 1 year, you most likely won't get a call back because your price is too high. The 1 year experience customer service jobs might fall somewhere between 15 and 20 per hour. So as long as your pay expectations aren't too high, shouldn't be a problem. Mhm. Okay, y'all. It's been an hour and 47 minutes that I've been on here. I wanted to try and, answer y'all's questions. So thank y'all for sending them. Hmm. Oh, I keep thinking of all these things. I'll just have to do another live because I may have bookmarked this just on my phone, but I keep up with, what's going on. And I've seen several articles talking about companies basically like taking back their work from home offers. So if y'all have been here for a while, I don't know if anyone's here from 2020, but back in 2020, like when everything was first going down, I had done a live and I was talking about how, the moment these companies can go back to the office and get folks back in there, that's what's happening. And I mean, they've already been, crossed that point. But now companies that said, okay, you can stay at home and work from home, they're like, actually, on second thought, no, you got to come back to the office. Which I kind of have a hunch that might be why that stat that I gave y'all a while ago on this live about a 47% increase in remote employees between January 2022 and January 2023, it may have something to do with that. Like they didn't go into details about what those numbers are about, but it might have something to do with that because companies are saying like, nope, actually you got to come back to the office. And I wonder if I have that. I'm going to check my phone because I know I have bookmarked it. But it was interesting. I'll probably try and put it in the newsletter on tomorrow in case anyone wants to read it. But that's making employees look for new jobs because a lot of folks moved out of state because their company said that they could work remotely. And then when they said, actually, you got to come back, they don't even live anywhere near. So they can't come back if they wanted to. They went and bought a house in Alabama and their job's in New York. So now they can't come back to work. So they're forced to get a new job. And these are the same folks that you're competing with. Mhm. And they're telling big tall ones about not being productive from home. It's very productive. It's the things that people are saying are contradicting. So you'll have companies say, "Yeah, everybody's being really productive working from home." And then you'll have some of those same companies turn around and say, "But everybody has to come back into the office." So if we're all productive at home, why does everyone have to come back in the office? And just from what I've seen, it looks like some of the people at the top are a little bit antiquated. That's the best way I can put it. Some of them are a little bit antiquated. Do y'all see? I keep saying I gotta go, but I keep talking. But one more thing, like Lieutenant Columbo, just one more thing. Did y'all see how who was it? Bye Bye Baby and Bed Bath and Beyond filed for bankruptcy, and I think they're going to be closing down all their stores. Did y'all hear about that? Reminds me of how, like, I just remember back in the day at like the cookouts that we'd have at my grandma's house. They say, okay, I'm getting up, ready to go. They grab their keys and they start to walk out, but then they stop and talk to somebody. And before you know it, it's been 45 minutes. They're standing up with the keys trying to get to the car, haven't even made it out the door yet. That's how it is. I always tell y'all I can chat. Yeah. But yeah, Bed Bath and Beyond and Bye Bye Baby went out of business. And see, same thing with these companies saying come back to the office. It'll be more productive in the office. You're not being productive at home. Mm. Well, see, the thing is, you're missing out on top talent because for a lot of top talent, number one on their list is work flexibility. And it's kind of like something you can't reel back in. Once someone has had a taste of working from home and they've identified that that style works for them, you think they're getting ready to go back to your office? No, they're not getting ready to go back to your office. They're going to find a new job. And that's exactly what people have been doing. And those are the folks that you are competing with. And they can bet on, and they bet on themselves every time because they know they have the skills to pay the bills. You have this, outdated management style. But see, seeing it from the company's perspectives as well, they have a building and it costs millions of dollars to have that building. They've got all the contents in that building. They have the cubicles and the computers and, you got the toilets and all the things. So they're not going to let that go. And there's always going to be people who prefer to go into the office. So hopefully things sort themselves out. But I bring up the whole Bye Bye Baby and the Bed Bath and Beyond thing because it's like that did not have to happen. Again, antiquated management. Whoever's at the top calling the shots. You know how many mommy bloggers are out here? You know how many home decor bloggers are out here? People on YouTube and Instagram. Hire some influencers. Tell them, go do a video about, redoing your bathroom and going to Bed Bath and Beyond. And, they go do a haul at Bed Bath and Beyond. The mommy bloggers, hire someone to go and, do some influencer marketing where like they do a haul at Bye Bye Baby. My baby was just born, or, my baby's now 1 year old and we need to go get some stuff. Like, there's no excuse. And people want to be outside now. Like the whole online shopping thing. If you look at the data, which I have, people want to be outside. So, yes, online is still number one. Like, again, you can't, reel that back in. But people like going to the stores and walking around because they couldn't. Like, they were inside all that time, during the panoramic, whatever you want to call it, and they couldn't go outside. And so now people really appreciate being able to just, go browse around Marshalls or Ross's or, Bed Bath and Beyond. Somebody dropped the ball. So anyway, y'all. All right. I gotta go. I've been on here chit chatting. I can't tell everything. I gotta save some for the next live. So, a few things, okay? If you have not watched yesterday's video, watch that video about the 3 things that I would do if I needed a work from home job. Okay, it's on my channel. And I don't think YouTube sent the notification because my husband usually gets notifications for my videos and he didn't get it. And he has his notifications set to all notifications. So that's how I know sometimes YouTube decides when they want to notify you and when they don't. So, in case you're not sure what video that is that I'm talking about, I'll show you really quickly on the screen. It's this video right here. Okay. If you need a work from home job, watch this it's a 9-minute video. Watch it. See, everybody wants to watch all the videos about money, 20,000 views, 24,000 views, but watch the video about how you can get to the money. And then if you find that you want more information, watch the workshop. I encourage you to watch the workshop anyhow. The link is in the description box below. And then, all right, get the workshop bundle if you can. And that's where I teach you how to make it happen. And I go into details about like the actual practicality of it. So if you need to find jobs that fit for what you're looking for, I give you like my actual step-by-step for how I find the jobs that I share on my channel. A lot of folks tell me they love the jobs that I share. How do you find those jobs, Delilah? I teach you exactly what I do. What I need to do for my interview, Delilah? I teach you exactly what to do. What about my resume? Teach you exactly what to do. You get the software, you've got the templates. It really is like a, one-stop shop. You get the system, you just apply what I teach you and you make it happen. So I hope all the moms have a marvelous Mother's Day. Thank you all so much for joining me for this almost 2-hour live. And I plan to see y'all on Monday with my next hot work from home opportunity. And of course, get your application in for this lead from Outset. This is a good one. Okay. Take care. Bye.